morning, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. Um, my channel is about investing for the future and the present, planting seeds so later on you can pick those seeds, pick those fruits from the trees that you've planted. I've been reading a lot of books on investing, the great investors of our times, the Warren Buffetts, the Tony Robbins, the Joel Greenblatts, the Daniel Towns, the Benjamin Graham. These are all guys who are, who are all great investors. But even though they're great investors, they've also wrote books to teach others how to invest and how to pass on their knowledge. So I'm almost 50 now. I've been working for the same company for almost 30 years. Thank God I'm still working because I'm in Toronto, Canada. See by the shirt, this is in Toronto, Canada, but this is Edmonton Eskimos. They're in Canada, Edmonton, Alberta. One of our football teams in Canada, CFL football team. But back to the topic. Investing. I read a few books over my time to teach myself. Nobody teaches you about investing. You have to learn for yourself. People who have money don't really teach you how to make money unless you read these books of great guys who want to pass on their knowledge. The first book I read was Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad Poor Dad. Now his book taught about investing. His number one investing platform is real estate. He gets passionate about real estate. He likes to buy homes, investment properties, sells them out. That's his passion. He likes going out looking. He said in his book that on some days when he's home doing nothing, he just go for a walk in the neighborhood, just to see what's for sale, what's not. What properties are for sale. Just from walking around. He loves doing that. That's one of his passions, is to walk around, drive around, and just see what's for sale. See what deals he can get, to see if he can see if you can see somebody, selling a house and just go over there, hey, how much for your house? What are you paying for your house? How long has it been on sale? Just stuff like that. And that's what he enjoys doing. And, he turned that into a passion, into a living. So now he owns I hear he owns over 700 properties worldwide. So but he likes to teach, which is good though. He likes to teach us what he's learned to other people. He doesn't just make his fortune, make his money, and then keep it all to himself. He teaches. You can find him on the internet. He's on Facebook. He's on YouTube. He's on Facebook. He's everywhere. This guy, passing on the knowledge he's earned. He doesn't have to. He's worth over $700 million. Almost a billionaire. This guy, but yet he wants to pass on what he's learned. So that's why I'm doing my investment as well too. I want to learn, pass on what I've learned to people who want to know, friends, family, my kids, my grandkids. I want to pass on the knowledge, so we can all have better and fulfilled lives. Even though money doesn't solve everything, it does solve a lot of it. So Robert Kiyosaki's book, Rich Dad Poor Dad, he talked about, liabilities. What's a liability? What's an asset? Growing up, we were taught, get a job, pay your bills, pay your debts, get a house, start a family. These are all the things that we're taught from day one. But nobody talks about money in school. They talk about everything, stuff you didn't need. They taught you stuff in school that made no sense in real life. Just paychecks for a teacher. But for us and the students and the people who are actually living these lives, it taught us absolutely nothing. I know. Don't get me wrong. You need to go to school to learn to read and write and basic math and a lot of stuff you need in school. But not everything they teach you in school you actually need in everyday real life. So, I'm almost 50 now. I'm gonna retire in another 15 years maybe if I'm still around 15 years. But even though I got a pretty good pension at work, I have savings and everything, it may not be enough when I retire. I mean, who knows what the world holds? What the economy is. Right now it's tanking. Everyone's panicking now about investing in stocks and bonds. But the thing I like about reading about people who have done it and made it and are passing on knowledge. They teach you what you can expect, what to do, what not to do. They've paved the road ahead of you. So it's up to you now to follow their path. And that's what I'm doing. I'm following their path to pass on their knowledge to what they teach me. I'll pass on to my kids, my grandkids, and then we'll see how it goes. Robert's book is about Rich Dad Poor Dad. He talks about asset and liabilities. The whole book. What's an asset? What's a liability? In his opinion, an asset is anything you own that pays you money is an asset. If you own a house and you rent it out, it's an asset. If you own a car and you rent it out taxi purposes. If you rent a car, if you drive for Uber or one of those other rideshare platforms, that's an asset. Anything that puts money in your pocket is an asset, or anything that preserves your wealth, like gold. And he's a big proportion of gold and silver. He likes gold and silver and metals, precious metals. So those are things he preaches. Now, a liability is anything that takes money out of your pocket. You may own your house, you may even be mortgage free, but your house is still not an asset. It's a liability because each month you still got to pay your property tax, hydro, water, and repairs to your house. So your house is not an asset because you're always paying money out. You're not getting money in. Now, if you were to rent your house out, rent all your rooms out your house, and then you're collecting money from the renters, now it becomes an asset because it's putting money into your pocket. So I don't own my house outright. I have another 5 years before I'm mortgage free. But even when I'm mortgage free, it's still gonna be a liability for me because I'm still not making money from it. I have rooms in this house. I have empty rooms I could probably rent out, but you don't know who you're living with when somebody moves in, right? It can be a nightmare for you. So I don't like headaches. So the rooms are empty for family and friends who need a place if they need it, kind of thing. So putting it out there. The next book that I read was Joel Greenblatt, The Little Book That Beats the Market. His book deals about stock market investing. He wrote a book. He created a formula called he didn't create a formula. He got a formula from somebody else back in about 100 years ago, and he revised the formula. His formula is called the Magic Formula. Now his formula is they pick the low cap stocks. Low cap stocks are stocks that are just beginning into the stock market. They're not really high value. They're low value stocks, but they're managed properly. They have good CEOs. They have good structure. It's like a future superstars of the stock market. But because they're low values as opposed to bigger companies, and they're not well known, no one's really buying them. So his book teaches you how to pick these stocks. You don't have to, actually, he has a website called themagicformula.com. You go to the website, it shows you all the low cap stocks that you apply to the formula. You pick like 15 to 20 stocks. You it has it on the website. You just pick 15, 20 stocks. You buy those 15, 20 stocks, and you sit on them. Now, originally you're supposed to buy 5 stocks first. Sit on that 5 stocks for 5 months. After another 5 months, or 3 to 5 months, buy 5 more stocks. Sit on them. Another 3 to 5 months, buy 5 more stocks. You get the idea. Just every 3 to 5 months, you keep buying 5 stocks until you hit about 20 stocks. Then you sit on those 5. Then you sit on those 20 stocks. After a year, you go back to your first 5 stocks that you bought, and if those 5 stocks are still on the Magic Formula website, you keep them. If any of those 5 stocks that you bought the year previous are off, you take them off and substitute. You sell it, and then you substitute the stocks that are off with whatever stocks, with more stocks from the website. So if you, a year goes past, you get your 20 stocks. Now you go and you check your profile. You don't need to check these stocks all the time. You can just buy them, leave them. And that's it. Sit on it for a year. Year comes by, you check the first 5 you bought. If there's two stocks missing from the first 5 you bought, replace them with 2 more from the Magic Formula website, and then that's it. Then you go another 3 to 5 months. You check the second batch of stocks you bought. If any of those five stocks are missing from the Magic Formula website, replace those ones. If nothing is missing, don't replace nothing. Just wait till the next 3 to 5 months, and then next 3 to 5 months, check the Magic website formula. If those stocks you picked are on there, nothing's done. You go to the last 5 stocks, the last 20 stocks. Check the formula. If 3 or 4 is missing from the formula, those 3 or 4 stocks that are missing, replace them with 3 or 4 more other stocks, and that's it. You keep doing that and that and that and that. Keep going on. They say that his formula has beat the market 51% of the times. 51%. So that's pretty good formula to think. But you gotta buy 20 stocks, and you gotta manage those 20 stocks. You got to be constantly managing those 20 stocks and 20 stocks. For me, it's a good book and everything, but that formula doesn't really work for me because I'm a lazy investor. I know I'm not going to buy 20 stocks that I know nothing really about, and then, just following the formula blindly. Because, the stock, things can happen where you can lose your money because nothing is guaranteed. So you may buy these 20 stocks and everything, sit on it for like 10, 15, 20 years. And in the end, you may not achieve what it says it's going to achieve because anything can happen in the stock market. Nothing in life is guaranteed. It tells you, any investor you go to, any stockbroker you go to, they tell you the same thing. Past performance is no indication of future performance. So what's happening in the past can't guarantee what's happening in the future. So even though it was a good book and everything, I'd recommend anyone to read it just for the knowledge, but it's not something that I would follow personally. The second book I read was Invested. Phil Daniel Town was the second book I read, and he's a hedge fund investor, one of the top hedge fund investors in America. Now he has a daughter. The story is about him and his daughter relationship and investing in life. Him and his daughter, they were married. He was married to her mother. That didn't work out. They had a bitter divorce. He left the family, and basically, when he left the family, she thought he didn't love her no more. But his reason for leaving the family was because things weren't working out. It was a bitter divorce. Things were getting toxic. He thought if he left and give her time to cool down, later on in life they'd reconnect and pick up where they left off. But she took it as a betrayal because she thought he left her. So for her whole life that affected her. So then later on in life, then they always kept in touch, but not how they should be. But him investing, her, and she went to law school to be a lawyer, and she loved the legal profession, being a lawyer and everything. But I guess being a young lawyer, she had to work like crazy hours, night and day, no time for anything. She was having health issues, stomach issues, because of all the stress from being a lawyer. And then when she realized that the money she was making for being a lawyer wasn't that much money from her, all the stress, all the stuff's going on with her practice and being a young attorney, and not making all that much money as she thought she would be. It wasn't as glamorous life as she thought it would be. That she reconnected with her father. He taught her. He said, if you want to retire in like 20 years, I can teach you how to retire in 20 years. You live the life you want, the dream you want to live. You can practice law, what you want to do. You can live your dream, because she knew that it's funny. She went to university, went to law school, all those years in law school, and she knew nothing about money. They taught her she learned about law, but nothing about money, nothing about investing, nothing about money. So she's a highly educated woman, and she couldn't balance a bank book. And now she met her father, but she reconnected it. He knew about finances. She wanted to learn about finances, so that was their connection. He taught her how to invest in stocks and stuff like that, how to pick stocks, how to study stocks, how to do the homework in stocks, like financial plans, how to read stocks, how to know what's good, what's bad, which is a lot of work. Trust me, it's a lot of work. So them reconnecting, she was able to, her first investment she bought was Whole Foods. She loved to go to Whole Foods. The father taught her, don't just buy stocks that you know nothing about. If you're going to buy any stock, know about the stocks. And you have to be passionate about the stocks. Know why you're buying the stock. So Phil Daniel Town was a good friend of Warren Buffett and other top investors. And they all had the same rule: don't lose money. Whatever stock you buy, the number one rule is don't lose money. So if you're going to buy a stock, make sure you know the history, the moat of a stock. When I say that, the moat meaning the stock's advantage. Like Coca-Cola, for example. Warren Buffett is a big Coca-Cola fan. He buys Coca-Cola. I hear he drinks 6 cans a day, which I don't know how he's still alive drinking 6 cans a day, but still, he loves Coca-Cola. When you drink Coca-Cola, people who drink Coca-Cola won't buy the cheap brand. You go to the store to buy Coke. You're not going to buy the cheap brand. You're buying Coke. Regardless of the price, you're buying Coke. So that's why Coke has an advantage over all of the soft drinks, because People buy Coke anywhere in the world you go to buy Coke. People want Coke. You go to a foreign country and you bring them a no-name brand of Coca-Cola. They look at you, but they spit in your face. They want Coke. They know what Coke is. They want Coke. They want no imitation. So Warren Buffett is a big investor in Coca-Cola because he loves Coke. He loves the company. He loves the products. You know, he knows it's gonna be around forever. It's a good stock to have because you know it's been around forever. It's been around 100 years. They pay dividends for 100 years. Dividend is just what the company pays you in basically interest for owning the company. So you own certain companies like Coca-Cola. Every 3 months they pay you percentage of what you own. So you own $1,000 in say you own maybe $10,000 in Coca-Cola stock. Every 3 months they pay you 4% of what you own every month in your bank account just for buying the stock. It's like a thank you for buying Coca-Cola stock. We're paying you 4 or 5% each month, every 3 months into your account. That's basically it. So that's how. This is one of the formulas of getting rich. You know, you buy stocks, you sit on it for however long. Either if the price appreciates in the stock value, you're making money because your initial investment has not grown. The company pays you dividends. They pay you like 4 or 5% every 3 months on top of your money. On top of your money. So now you're making money from the stock increase, and you're making money from the dividends. And it's compound interesting over time. You know, so you can't lose. You know, if you go to any bank and you say you have $10,000 to deposit, they can offer you 1%. So maybe if you're lucky 1%, sometimes you're like 0.5% to invest your money into their bank. The same money that you invest into that bank, they're gonna loan to somebody else for like 15-20%. You're paying you 1%, but they're gonna loan it to somebody else for 5, 10, 15% if they're high risk borrowers. You buy a stock like a Coca-Cola stock of $10,000 stock in Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola ain't going bankrupt anytime soon. You know, they're paying you 4 or 5% dividend interest on top of your money every 3 months for owning the stock. Plus, when that stock appreciates, you're getting money on top of that too. So you're making money, and when all that gets added back to the principal, and that all that is compounded interest over time, you know. So stuff you can't lose. It's investing. I like investing. I like investing because I can invest money, buy things I like. I can own stocks. Plus, it's good bragging rights too. You know, hey, yeah, I own shares in Coca-Cola. I own shares in Amazon. I don't own it yet, but I do own shares. I'm gonna own shares in those companies. It's good bragging rights. Yeah, I'm a shareholder in Amazon. I'm a shareholder in Apple. I'm a shareholder in things. You know, yeah. But majority of the people don't invest in anything. Even I'm here in Toronto, Canada right now, but even in USA, USA, all those people in USA, I think only 14% of the total population invest in stocks. So not majority of people aren't investing in stocks. The majority of people get up every morning, they go to a job they hate because they have mortgage, they got a family, they got kids, they have to go to work and work to pay the bills, and if they want to be homeless. So they want to get 85% of people get up in the morning, go to a job they hate. They're only there because they have no choice. You know, they haven't planned for the present, they haven't planned for the future, they haven't planned for their kids. You know, when they have their kids and the kids hit around 19, 20, everyone's panicking. How are we going to pay for education? How are we going to pay for our kids to go to school if you want to be doctors and lawyers? How are we going to fund all this stuff? What do? They refinance their mortgage, take out of their mortgage, take loans, and again they're back in it again, stuck in another job for another 15, 20 years, paying for student loans and student debts and all these other debts they have, when they made no plans for it. If they had just bought 20 years ago, if you had bought an Amazon stock, Amazon was going for like $25 a share for an Amazon stock. 20 years ago, you buy 4 Amazon stocks 20 years ago. You invest in $100 on Amazon. That's it. You don't do nothing else for 20 years. Now Amazon stock is worth what? $3,000 per share. That's your $100 would have grown to $12,000. And if you bought $1,000 in Amazon share 20 years ago, $1,000 times $3,000, what's that? 400,000, I think. Maybe 400,000. Maybe don't judge. Yeah. So if you picked the stock 20 years ago and sat on it, just thought like a bank, buy it, sit on it, forget about it. Now you're laughing over to the bank, you know. So if you invest, people say, "Oh, you're old right now. You're almost 50. Why are you investing now?" Well, I go, there's no better time than the present. I got young kids, I got grandkids. What I learned from reading and going to courses and everything, what I learned, I pass on to them. Plus, I'm. This is like my second retirement. Sure, I'll have a pension when I retire if all goes well, if the world doesn't fall apart by then. But if I start investing now in 20, 30 years, who knows what I'll have? I can have, I could be a millionaire. I could have with compounding interest and a few good stocks to pick. So you sit on it and I do the value investing. Now, value investing is where you pick a stock, pick a fund. I'm picking index funds because the Warren Buffett, all these books, Tony Robbins, Joel Greenblatt, Warren Buffett, Benjamin Graham, all the great investors tell you index funds, and every fund manager, everyone on the planet who investors, all the investors, they all have index funds. They know how to make money, maintain money, so they all have index funds. But they all do stocks as well too. But to preserve their wealth, they all have their money in index funds. So index funds is Warren Buffett says his recommendation to anyone wanting to enter the stock market, buy an index fund, and just each month or each week, whenever you get paid, automatically put money into that account. If you have like $10 a week in that account, that way if the stock rises, it doesn't matter. You put in $10 a week into that fund. You can't buy as much for $10 a week, but you're still adding to the fund. And when the stock goes higher, you're not losing money. You're still making money when it goes higher. The only way you lose money in the stock game is if your investment goes to zero. But if you pick good companies, good stocks, that ain't gonna go bankrupt in 20, 30 years, you can't lose. Even if you put in $10 a week, like I said, the stock goes higher. You're not able to buy as much stock shares, but you still in just $10. It all adds up. Eventually, you'll get a share. Now, when the stock, like now, we're in a bad recession right now. All the companies in the stock market prices are going down. Amazon's going down. Apple's going down. Everyone's going down. Some are going up, but most are going down. You still put $10 a week into your account. Now you're able to buy more of those shares. So when it goes down, that's why all these like Buffett says, when some people fear the stock market when it's crashing, going down. He licks his chops because he knows when the stock market goes down, all these great companies are bought at a discount. No matter how great the company is, when the stock market hits, and we're in a recession or depression, things get cheap. It's like Christmas. When Christmas rolls around, you get all these great brands that are on sale. And they go on sale when people buy them up when they're on sale. So I don't shop for anything all year round. Only the necessities I shop all year round. But come Christmas time, Boxing Day, when things are on sale, all these high brands are on sale. That's when I do my shopping, when they're on sale. Why would I pay regular price when I don't have to, when I know the sale's coming up? Just like the stock market. They say every 10 years is a correction. Every 3 years there's a downturn in the recession. So yeah, just smart investors buy stocks when it's cheap. When things like now, Warren Buffett Warren Buffett has gold now. He sold all his airline stocks. Most of his money is in cash now because he knows the sales are coming up. They have no choice. Apple. Last week, a friend of mine bought some shares of Apple at $110 per share, or like $1,000 of Apple. And now 2 days later, it went down to like 106. But he doesn't care because Apple's is a great product. It's a great brand. Apple ain't gonna go bankrupt. So he bought Apple. I'm gonna eventually buy Apple as well too, but I'm waiting for it to go to about $100, and then I'll buy. If it goes that low. But if you buy a good brand, you buy the Apples of the world. Apple ain't going anywhere. Google. One share of Google is like $1,500. But still, $1,500 is a lot of money. Yeah, but it's a lot of money now. You put $1,500 into Google, in 20 years from now, that could be $10,000 for one share of Google, because Google owns everything. They run everything. You know, the governments go to Google for them to do things for the governments. When a company's when a government's relied on certain technology and certain companies, you know they're not going to go anywhere. They're only going to make money. They're only going to get bigger. So everything is expensive when you live in the moment. 20 years ago, when you're buying a house, it was expensive. 20 years economy. But if you bought a house 20 years ago and the house is paid off now, you can sell your house and retire. So you can't always look at what it's worth. You got to look at what the value is. You know what potentially it can give you in the future. So that's why I'm big on investing. You know, my kids, my son is he has bank accounts. They have mutual funds. I go next time he comes over, we're gonna go to the bank. We're gonna open a brokerage account. I'm gonna buy him, invest his first index fund for him, and teach him how to invest in index funds. Right now, Warren Buffett said the best index fund by right now is the VOO. It's the Vanguard VOO, and that is the top 500 companies in the USA. The top biggest companies in the USA right now is in that fund. So there's no way that the top 500 companies in the US, which are all international companies around the world, will all go bankrupt. So if that happens, the whole world is over. You don't have to worry about money anymore. You're back to the Stone Age days, caveman days. So you buy that. I just opened my brokerage account last week. It's opened up now. I've got my wish list there. On my wish list are all index funds. I got the Vanguard VOO, the Vanguard VTI. Those are ETFs. Those are like you can buy those like stocks. They're easy to get into. You can buy one stock for like maybe $100. Now, if you want index funds now, those have index funds as well. But with index funds, you have to invest more money. Like I think it's $3,000 to open up the Vanguard index fund. So three grand. Not everyone has $3,000, especially now in this economy. But if you don't have $3,000, don't worry about it. ETF are the same thing, the exact same thing as index funds. Just a different ticker symbol, but it's the same thing. It allows you to invest more money one time as initial investment than the ETFs. But my first index fund will be the Vanguard VTSAX, and that tracks the 500 top companies in the U.S. stock market. But I'm also going to have ETFs. I'm going to have the VOO, which is the same as a index fund. Yes. I'm going to invest in, my wish lists are the VOO, Vanguard VOO, because Vanguard is the original index fund. Vanguard was the first company that started index funds back in the 70s. So because they're the first ones, they have usually the lowest fees. Their fund is owned by shareholders and employees. It's not owned by anyone outside of Vanguard. So Vanguard is owned by Vanguard. It's not owned by other companies who have stakes in the company. So it's managed well. And the original founder of Vanguard is still running the company to this day. So, but so my Vanguard wish lists are VO, that's the U.S. stock market, top 500 companies. Vanguard VTI, which is every single stock in the U.S. stock market. That's about 3,606 stocks. Low cap, meaning low value stocks, medium value companies, and all the Amazons. So even though you can't afford to buy Amazon or Apple or Facebook or all these companies, if you buy the index funds, the ETFs, you look at the profile of the index, it'll show you. You own the index. All those indexes have Apple, Google, Amazon, Facebook. So they have all the top 500 companies. So even though you can't afford to buy single stocks, you don't need to buy the index or the ETF, and just invest weekly or monthly or each paycheck, $10-$20 into that fund forever. Don't even look at it. Don't even look at it for another 10, 20, 30 years. Then when you're ready to retire, you open it up, and there it is. You got a fortune. You're rich. If you need it, you have it. If you don't need it, you pass it on to your kids. You can pass on the fund to your kids. You know, just put their name in the will in the for the beneficiary. So if you can have it for yourself. If you don't need, if later on in life you say, I don't need this money. I'm gonna pass it on to my son, my daughter, my kids. Let them manage the fund. You know, that way your grandkids in 20, 30 years, your grandkids will be able to buy them a house. In 20, 30 years from now, things can be a lot more expensive than how it is now. People can't afford homes now. Imagine in 20 years from now. So you're investing in your kids' future. Your future, your kids, your grandkids, and this is generational wealth. So you'll own a few index funds. The money goes on forever. Once it start compounding, you know, if you have an account and you're getting like say 10% a year, every 7 years or so, the money doubles. So it starts doubling. So your 10,000 goes to 20,000. Your 20,000 goes to 40,000. Then 40 to 80, 80 to 160. You know, you just keep doubling. And once it starts doubling, there's no stopping it. You can't spend that money fast enough. You got people who have made money like, you know, the Vanderbilts and the Rockefellers, who have made money like, you know, decades ago. They made money back in the old days. They're all dead now. But their investments, their stocks, their index funds, well, their stocks, their investments in real estate and in funds and in stuff. Now their kids, their grandkids and grandkids are spending that money now. Even though the original founders of the family are all dead and gone. Their money is being spent by their grandkids, kids who don't know who they were. But all they know is that daddy is getting money from his great grandfather that we're carrying it on, and that's how the rich stay rich. They invest their money, and when they want something, they use their investments. Robert Kiyosaki is always saying, the rich don't work for their money, you know, their money works for them. What he means by that is, the rich use their investments to buy stuff. You know, if they want a new car, they use their money from the stocks. They use their money from their real estate investments. They don't go to a bank and say, "Give me $20,000. I want to buy something." Their money is used for buying more investments, and their investment is used for buying toys like cars and homes. That's why the rich. That's why during this recession now, you got Bezos. His fortune jumped $35 billion in the recession. People are going bankrupt and losing their homes. He's getting richer and richer and richer because he has investments in companies, stocks. You know, he's investing in his company. He's building more Amazons all over the place. Each Amazon is making him a fortune. He can't spend the money fast enough. He was married to his wife for 20 years. They built a company together. They divorced. I think she got like $60 billion out of the company. And in 3 months, 4 months, the money he paid his ex-wife, $60 billion, he made it back in 3 months. You know, they say he's on pace to be a